Well, hello there. Welcome to the Obi Thorn Alliance. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Luke.
And in today's video, we are doing a top 5 of sporting movies. Like and subscribe, comment down below what your top 5 sporting movies are. Hit the notification bell, like and comment. Did you want to go first, Luke, or?
Oh, yeah, do you want to go back and forward? We'll do 5 and then you do your 5, like one after each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I'll go first. So, in my list, I tried to pick movies that I thought were truly good because they were about sport. So I have some honourable mentions that are comedies, but in my top 5, they're mainly serious movies. But there is so many sports movies that are comedies that I absolutely love, but really trying to narrow it down, I try to pick the ones that were a better quality opposed to just made me purely laugh. So that's to clarify how I've done my list. So at number 5, I've gone with Mean Machine. So Mean Machine, for if you haven't seen it, is a British version of The Longest Yard. So opposed to them playing NFL in a prison, this time it's soccer. In this movie, we get to see a young Jason Statham who does well in it, and has funny elements, but it's definitely more serious than the American version, which focuses on the gridiron. So I think that's a worthy movie to make the top 5, and if anyone hasn't seen it, I think it's very much worth watching, especially if you like British movies like Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels or Rock and Roller. Very similar.
My number 5 is Moneyball, and Moneyball is based off a true story with Brad Pitt. Basically, the concept is that the team is struggling, and he's a decent general manager, and then someone else, assistant general manager from a different team, comes in and talks about using different players that are struggling, but using a different system that no one has heard of before. And then they start actually playing well, and just the concept of how it works and just the story behind it, you're intrigued, and it was really a good movie. And unfortunately, it doesn't turn out that well, but it was cool to see how the system works and behind everything, and how the other coaches and team thought he was nuts to trust the other assistant manager, that the character was actually a fictional character played by Joe Hill. So it was cool to see that, and he actually passed down to general manager with the New York Yankees, or a different team. He was basically...
I think he went to the Red Sox.
Yeah. He turned down that job to stay at the team, so showed loyalty, and yeah, I think it's well worth watching. But the only nitpick is that it is slow, and you always like to see the team that the movie is follow win or have some success. They do, but the main problem is that they don't have a big superstar. It's more based on team success, and unfortunately they don't. So yeah.
At number 4, I've gone with Moneyball, same as Jacob had 5. Moneyball...
It's a great movie.
Oh, it is a great movie. The concept that they've worked out that they can create a winning formula with a low budget, that they need to pick not superstars, they just need to pick players that do the little things right, and if you get enough of them, they will win. So they have this idea of base hits is important. So they go, well, we could get a superstar that's going to hit home runs, or we can get 10 players that are just going to hit the base. They're going to get the first base more often than not, and if everyone gets the first base, eventually you get a home run. So it's clever. It's now a word that's in people's vernacular. People refer to something as doing money balling, or they talk about other sporting teams trying to use this Moneyball idea, and it's clever. It's changed the way we think. Brad Pitt's great in it. Jonah Hill's great in it. As you said, one disappointing part is that they had to make up a fictional character, which was a mixture of several characters in real life to make it more interesting. But that's all right. You feel bad for the people that didn't make the movie because they created a fictional character, but for us, it was entertaining. Yes, they didn't get the success and win the World Series, but they do hold the record for the most consecutive wins of all time in a season with a team that had nobodies. We also get to see Chris Pratt in this movie, so it does have a star-studded lineup. He's probably the most impressive player they got for the team, because no one wanted him because he's a pitcher that throws a bit funny, but he's good, but they just didn't want him because he didn't look the way they wanted to. So it's a good way of showing people that sometimes being consistent is better than being a superstar. So it's a cool message for young people. Your number 4?
My number 4 is Blindside. And I'm pretty certain a lot of people know what this movie is. It's a true story with Sandra Bullock and based on a gridiron player that had a tough upbringing and then is really good at gridiron, and just seeing the ups and downs of his life and how he became a really good gridiron player, and seeing how he was picked up by this rich family and then got to play in the professional league and took his, I believe in how America works, his university or his school to the championship and won that. And very emotional movie, and definitely Sandra Bullock's best performance that I can think of. Definitely great journey throughout, seeing his different life between the two cultures, how he was kind of abused in the black African culture, and definitely a great sporting movie.
Yeah, The Blind Side is a great movie.
Yeah.
It didn't make my list only because I don't remember it that well.
Yeah, great.
But I think if I re-watched it, it probably would make the list. But Sandra Bullock was great in it. And good. Again, true stories. I think true stories are what makes sporting movies great, because it's things that you wouldn't believe your eyes if you didn't see it yourself, which makes a good sporting movie. So I'm up to number 3. I've gone... Oh, I forgot. At number 3, I've gone with Coach Carter. So Coach Carter is obviously a great basketball movie. Samuel L. Jackson is the main character in this. Again, another true story, but this focuses very much on a poor neighborhood with kids that are struggling with sports, school, and being in gang life, and that's what makes it really good. We get to see a young Channing Tatum in this movie, so we obviously know what he's gone on to do, so it was nice to see him in this serious role. So that, for me, is my number 3.
My number 3 is 42, but based on a baseball black African American play by Chaz Bowman, who plays Black Panther when he was unfortunately in this world. And very great movie with Harrison Ford, based when playing baseball, and unfortunately there's racism, and he's a really good baseballer, but dealing with playing on a white team and things like that. But Harrison Ford, as a general manager, gives him a go, and he's actually the best player on the team. But there's some whites basically bullying him, and then he basically carries the team to, I believe, the playoffs or the finals, and probably one of his best performances outside of Black Panther. Just a great movie. I'm personally not a fan of baseball, but this movie made me respect baseball. Definitely a great movie.
Yeah, I love the number 42. unfortunately it's an honourable mention for me. I did have it in my list, but I realised I've added 6, so I'm gonna miss the list because of that. But yeah, Chadwick Boseman, I think it's his best performance.
Yeah.
I think it's better than Black Panther. Obviously, again, true story. It's about one of, if not the first, black African American baseball player playing in a league full of white guys, and someone taking a chance saying, we don't care the colour of his skin, he's the best player. And seeing the things he has to deal with being of colour in that time. And obviously number 42 is now being retired. Players cannot be that number in baseball because that's how important this guy was. So that's a fantastic movie. So number 2 for me, I've gone with The Legend of Bagger Vance. Weird title, but great movie. Jacob hasn't seen it.
No.
I highly recommend it. A lot of people may not have seen it because it is a golf movie, which you wouldn't think from the title. But we've got Will Smith as movies based on him. I don't know if he's the main character, but he does steal the show. And then we've got Matt Damon and Charlize Theron. It's a mix of some real characters and then made up events. So it's kind of like a hybrid movie. And it's just awesome. You don't have to love golf to like it. It just has so many cool messages in it. How it starts and finishes is very clever. You know, like there's the boy that's in the movie. He's having a heart attack on the golf course, and then he kind of whilst he's dying or crossing over the other side, he tells the story about The Legend of Bagger Vance and an experience he had when he was a young boy. But it's a great movie. It focuses on like war as well, and it's for me, it's probably my favorite Matt Damon movie, but not my favorite Will Smith movie. But definitely my favorite movie Matt Damon's in, which is odd to say for someone that's so massive. Your number 2?
My number 2 is Remember the Titans, and I think this has to be one of Denzel Washington's best movies, and this focus on the gridiron team, the Titans, and just the times that gelling black African Americans and white players together, the racism at the time, just how the movie is, and then accepting each other. It's one of the best gridiron movies, and We Are Marshals as well. That one is a great movie. But this movie, the acting, the performances, dealing with the times, I think it's definitely, it could possibly be number 1, but personally I'm more of a basketball person, so it definitely has the right to be number 1. I just think gridiron isn't as entertaining, but this is still a true story, and I think it's definitely something that everyone needs to watch and embrace and understand that even in sport, people are racist for no reason, because it's about winning games and accepting people.
So I, for number 1, have gone with Remember the Titans. I think out of all the sports movies, I think most people can watch this. Even if you don't like NFL, I guess the time and place it's set, the race wars and what was going on, being a true story, I think it makes it rewatchable and have a wide audience. It also, Denzel Washington's an awesome actor.
Yeah.
It has a few other notable actors that go on to do bigger things, but they play like younger roles in this movie. One that stands out for me, he plays Petey Jones in this movie. I can't think of his real actor's name, but he plays Turk in Scrubs, so he's a recognisable face from that. And yeah, it's just a fantastic sporting movie. And if you don't have to like sport to watch this one, which some of the other ones, sport helps.
And I kind of gave it away with number 2 because I love basketball. My number 1 is Coach Carter. I think there's so much life lessons in this movie. I think Samuel Jackson, when I think of him, this is the first movie that I think of that it's his best performance outside of Nick Fury. Just the story that this movie tells, even though they spoil it, they don't win at the end, at least they changed their lives and they became successful. That's what matters more. Sports is just a platform to succeed and overcome things in life. And I love how he teaches these grown-up men that you need to work hard, and basically he teaches them in their first practice session that you need to run laps, and we'll get to the offense. And their first game they outrun, and that's how they win the game. So personally, I think Coach Carter, I might be a little bit biased because I'm a basketball person, but in my opinion, it's the greatest sporting movie of all time.
Mm-hmm.
What was your honorable mentions?
Oh, there's a few. Most of them are comedies, you know. Semi-pro, funny basketball movie, but it's not serious enough.
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore, again, a golf movie, one of my favourite movies of all time. But I didn't feel like it fitted the theme I was going with this list. The Replacements, a great Keanu Reeves movie. My favourite Keanu... No, actually second favourite, because I love Point Break. Second favourite Keanu Reeves movie.
Creed?
Creed was great. Tin Cup, another golf movie. So yeah, the list goes on and on of things that could other sports movies. I reckon is my favorite genre. There's a few that we missed that I haven't seen. Like everyone talks about Rudy and Field of Dreams, but I think they're before our generation, and not being American and not being big gridiron fans or baseball fans, we probably just never had a need to watch it. Major League is a decent one with features Charlie Sheen. So yeah, there's lots and lots of good sports movies. What about yourself?
Yeah, Creed, for We Were Marshals. The list is quite expansive, I guess. One of the Rocky movies.
Karate Kid.
Yeah, Karate Kid. I think Cobra Kai is better than Karate Kid. Yeah.
It becomes hard to narrow down sports movies. We were looking it up, and Point Break made the list, and it's like, well, there's sport in it, but it's not really. It's about robberies. So, like, where do you draw the line? So, sports movies is very vague.
Well, thank you for helping, Luke. Hope you enjoyed our top 5 sporting movies of all time. See you in the next video. Leave a comment down what your top 5s are. Bye-bye.